Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ICC Biz Live again. This is the 37th episode. We are constantly uh, in the learning path. We are learning and bringing people who give us knowledge. Today, we have with us a very eminent person, Mr. Dipyaman Banerjee. He is the CEO of AI Hub of IIT Kharagpur. Sir, this show is about you. So let's begin. Request to give a brief introduction of yourself and current role in IIT Kharagpur.
Sure. First of all, very good afternoon, good evening to everyone. And thank you, Dr. Ashik Ghosh and Indian Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to take part in this podcast. So I am Dipyaman Banerjee. My current role is as a CEO. So I'm the CEO of the AI Innovation Hub in IIT Kharagpur. This AI Innovation Hub was created as part of a national mission by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and where they have created 25 such innovation hubs across the country, each of them having a area of technology focus. Uh, the hub created inside AIT Kharagpur is called AI for ICPS. This is our AI for ICPS stands for AI for Interdisciplinary Cyber System, and it is part of the national mission called NMICPS, which is National Mission of Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System. The technology area focus for us is AI and ML. So we try to see that how we can apply an AI and ML into cyber physical systems and can build world-class products, world-class technologies, world-class startups from academic research while collaborating with between academia, industry, government, and startup ecosystem, right? The other thing that we do is we also double up as a startup incubator. So many of these research projects they can convert into startup, and we can incubate them. We also take lateral entries for AI startups, AI and deep tech startups. We also do conduct upskilling courses to create the next generation of AI workforce. So there are multiple flagship courses that we run, and more than 10,000 learners have already gone through our course. These are mainly very hands-on oriented AI courses, including Gen AI, LLM, Agentic AI, one of the topic that we are going to discuss today. Uh, and we also do international collaboration on research, right? Before joining AI for ICPS at IIT Kharagpur, I was for 11 years. I was part of IBM research. I was a researcher there. Problem solving is one of the thing I love at heart. I'm a problem solver and a researcher. So after that, after IBM research, I also worked as the head of AI in Airtel and also as principal data scientist in Swiggy. Uh, so I have worked across multiple domains, including mobility, including retail, including networking, and also food delivery systems and telecommunication. And also worked in various technology areas, including AI, cyber physical systems, uh, mobile communication, computer networking, IoT, and others. Right. So that's something what I have, how I have reached here. Uh, so thank you again, Indian Chamber of Commerce, for inviting me.
I have, from that, two questions are coming. One is these certificate courses you conduct. Who are the students? Are they from industry or are they just engineering students, or who are they? Number one. And number two, you also talked about nurturing startups. Uh, are, are these technology related startups, are they only in deep tech or in various sectors? Number one. Are they viable? Number two.
Sure. So first, the certificate courses. These certificate courses are so the part when we look at the participant, they are from both from academia, from students, who are pursuing BTech level courses, graduate level courses, or master level courses, but also a big portion, almost more than 50%, are coming from industry. So many of early and mid-career professionals, even some late-career professionals, are also have joined our courses uh, with where they want to reskill or upskill themselves. We have even participants where the father and the daughter both have joined the courses, and they both had was cleared with distinction. So we had people from all India, from all different areas at different stages of their career. They have joined our course. There is a recent course. I think that. It is already up and it is going to start from June, called High Plus Plus. So if you go to our website, you can check it out.
My
And
PhD in my sunlight days. I am at the age of 55 on AI and automation and impact on employment. Now, next question that was
startup part, on
viability of your
right. I will
no.
just on the startup part a little bit. So you said that yes, they are definitely viable. We are looking at AI. As I said, that our company is about AI for interdisciplinary cyber physical systems. So we look at deep tech system which are AI powered, but across multiple domains. For example, we support startups from agriculture, we support startups from defense, we support startups from healthcare. So where AI is applied across these different domains, right? So many of these startups we incubate and we support. They get this incredible knowledge, access to this knowledge cradle of IIT Kharagpur. They get amazing network opportunities with our IIT alumni, and obviously the brand IIT Kharagpur is with them. So that also helps them. So typically, what we have seen, that as you know, that startup is some startups will obviously fail, but what we are seeing increasingly, that if you nurture them right, if you understand, if you fail fast, and if you put your priorities right, if you do your investments right, it can become viable. And the AI led startups, specifically cross domain AI led startups, we are seeing a pretty good rise and improving in valuation in those.
So, as an economist, one question is coming out of curiosity. So, self-employment is increasing in India. That is a really a good development.
Absolutely. So I think this is an incredible mission. From DST side, the thinking about this mission, coming up with this mission, and actually rolling it out is a very futuristic step. And if you see that in current world rankings, we are doing excellently well in terms of publication and patenting. In publication, we are third in the world, right? But if you look at academia industry collaboration, or if you look at the commercialization of the research, we are we our ranking is not that good, right? We are 66th in terms of industry academia collaboration, for example. So there is a gap between doing academic research and converting them into impactful product which can be commercialized. And that is where these hubs were created as a vehicle who can take this research project from, say, a TRL 3 to 4, the technology readiness level 3 to 4, to a TRL 8. This typically is called the valley of death, where most of the research projects fail. That's where this kind of a vehicle is created, which can work across industry, collaborate with industry, government, and academia to take this cutting edge research that are happening in these eminent institutes and convert them into products. You will see examples of this in many developed economies like US and Europe. So they have actually successfully built this model and executed them.
Now, sir, let's come to today's topic: AI coding agents. How do they differ from traditional automation tools and code assistants?
Okay. So if you think of it, it's basically an evolution. You can think of it as an evolution, right? So basic automation, they are not autonomous, right? Basic automation, they can given a specific list of tasks, if then and else rules, they will be able to automate that. Of the very early examples of that, which we have also quoted, is like cron jobs or shell programming, which can do a multiple thing, but they are extremely strict and inflexible. So whatever you tell them, it will only do that. It will not learn from mistakes, or it will not be able to plan or reason with it, right? And it's definitely not autonomous, right? So it can think of it like a factory machine, which is extremely fast and reliable and quick. So, but it only does what you tell it to do, right? So, and it cannot think beyond that. Coding agents, you can, the next level is coding agents, which you can think of somebody which is working as you are coding, it is helping you to build something, right? So typically this GitHub Copilot or code whisperer from Amazon, so these things, they can in fact Cloud Code also do some so those, they can help you in helping you to build something. So they can, while you are coding, they can integrate with your IDE, and they can help you to build some of the code snippets that you want to include in your code. It can help you to understand some of your codes, or legacy codes that are there. uh, Whereas coding agents are almost fully autonomous, if you can say, like, or semi autonomous. So they have a large level, so the autonomy level is much higher compared to, say, coding assistant, or our general automation tools. uh, Coding agents, you give it a goal, basically. So you give it a goal, and then the coding agent has the capability to divide the goal into sub goals, then plan and reason, create step by step a step by step plan, and then execute them on their own, right? So they can execute them at a task level. They can connect with different tools, different APIs. They will be able to touch base on a go work across multiple files, and and then they will do those tasks, and then they will test itself. I mean, it will test itself. If there are bugs, it will fix, and then it will iterate. So it is, and from end to end, the coding agent, given a workflow, or given a goal, or a set of goals, it will be able to create a plan, execute, fix, learn, and iterate, right? So if I just so that is what coding agents are. Example of that, I mean, we have all seen, I mean, Cloud Code is definitely that. Auto GPT is there. So those things are coding agents that are getting used more and more these days. So hopefully I am able to give you a comparison across these three different things. So these are three different things. Yeah.
Explained wonderfully. So one again another question arising out of curiosity. While I did my own studies on AI, I found automation to be inflexible. So what do you mean that with coding agents, automation is becoming a bit more flexible nowadays?
Yes, but it is up to you how much autonomy you want to give, because it is if you also have to see that there can be this runaway executions that can happen. It can touch files that you don't want them to touch, right? So while you give them autonomy, you also have to have guardrails around them, so that it does not do that is something you don't intend it to do, right? So that is very important. But yes, definitely autonomous. To answer your question, it is becoming much more flexible now. You can give it, like, if you look at the recent Cloud Code, then you can see that just giving a basic workflow, it can do amazing things. And it can do, it can also, it has a very long context, so it can actually go to repos, a big code repos, understand the architecture, understand the code, and then can even write new code that can integrate with that code and can work seamlessly. So all these things, this autonomy is definitely there. But as it says that with great power comes great responsibility, so we also have to be clear on that what we want, and put the guardrails and fault tolerance system around them, so that the ultimate customer experience, or the system level objectives are met.
Guardrails, very nice word you used. So now my next question is is about when as somebody who's just learning AI, coding, automation, and all that. And there are so many products in the market. There are so many OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. I mean, I mean, is there any distinction between these, or more or less all are same? What we say in Bengali, English wish.
Well, I mean, they are all evolving. First of all, they are all evolving. How they were, say, a year ago versus where they are now. There, you can see there is a huge improvement that is happening. And what we get to hear that many of these they are now in the self improvement path where they can improve part of their on their own. So I think the story is yet still unfolding, and there are amazing things we are yet to see coming from these systems. I will not go into that which is good, which is bad, but obviously there are certain things uh, which one of the product prioritizes over another, and this prioritization of their objectives might differ from one tool or one product from another product. For example, the cloud code is it works with long context very well, whereas Google Gemini, for example, or Gemini based agents. So Opus based agent is called Gemini based agent. So they would be extremely well integrated with the Google stack of products, right? So you can easily connect with Google Maps, you can easily connect with Chrome, you can easily connect with your Google Chat. So all those things. So it has the way it is designed that it is very easy to connect with other products, other Google stack elements with them, right? So that is there. Also in terms of control, so some of them has allows you to give greater control and put probably more granular guardrails than the other. So those things also in those terms they also differ. So I would say that depending on what kind of work you are doing, do some research to understand that which is the LLM or that you are going to use, or which agent you are going to use that is based on some LLM or some model. So that you have to do a bit of research to see. Many cases it can also happen that you might end up using multiple of them. That means you are probably using Opus and Google Gemini, or Opus or OpenAI together as well, right? So that can also happen. So you will have to figure out from your task that whether which one makes more sense.
You said very one intelligent what they are still evolving. And I also few days ago I heard from another expert the same thing, that they are still in design stage, which more or less matches with what you are saying. Now, my next question is: will AI agency developers role from coding to supervision and architecture design? What will be the developer's role in future?
Very pertinent question, and I think extremely timely also. That is, and you are right. So we are seeing that many of these mundane kind of coding, those things will obviously we will outsource them to coding agents, but still critical coding will remain with humans, right? And specifically edge cases, handling edge cases, that will remain with humans. Another thing that is going to be there, that obviously the supervision, as you said, that could be more supervisory role or architecture design roles. So those will there we have to, as a human, our role will be there to create a robust architecture design which probably maps to the business need. And so those things will require, right? So our for examples, many of the system that we want to design might require deep customer insight, so that the human can obviously bring. And it is important because many of cases we see that you have probably using a coding agent, you have built a system very fast and very accurate, but it may not giving in the best customer experience, right? So that can happen, and so there needs to be a human who can verify that, who can validate that, who can critique the program that way, so that it actually aligns with what the objective or the final objective or the business objective are, right? Another thing where humans, I think, role would be as a coder as well, is the domain knowledge, right? So many of cases, for example, if you see somebody coming from a healthcare domain, or somebody coming from a legal domain, or somebody coming from an education domain, right? So many of them, they might have some they can use these coding agents, but if they use their domain knowledge combined with this coding agent, they can build application extremely fast, which were previously almost impossible for them to build, just because of the coding effort that would have needed for them to build that, right? So, but now using these coding agents and combining it with their domain skills, they can, or domain knowledge, they can build this application, this domain, deep domain applications extremely quick. So that is another thing we expect to see. That will happen. That you will see a lot of these meta developers coming from domains where previously we never thought there will be coders or any developers there, right? So that is I think we have already seeing that in many of our projects, research projects, our interdisciplinary research projects. We're already seeing quite of that.
Very important point you said about domain knowledge. But sir, question is quality people who can combine domain knowledge with agents and develop fast programs are very difficult to find. Do you agree? And while we are becoming more fast, are we able to maintain quality?
That's a great question, and what I hear from my industry colleagues is that this is indeed a problem, that maintaining quality. One of the thing that is what I get to hear is happening is that a lot of this AI assisted code getting written, and then people are creating an AI judge to evaluate them. Then they're creating another AI judge to evaluate the judge. So this creates a false sense of progress, and that and it also can be very unmanageable in very quick time. So many of these, if there are errors, that can accumulate and climb up very quickly, right? So what we have seen, that there are certain uh, models or sudden development that are happening, which are happening very quickly, but may not be of that quality, or they might be at a demo level, they might be uh, extremely exciting to give it a demo to your customer or something, but when you try to deploy that in production, then it is not working at the level of quality that you would expect a production quality code to behave, right? So that is important. So quality, when we say quality, I think basic level quality is getting achieved, but if we talk about production level qualities, then we have to have human in the loop, right? And that's where we need this agent orchestrator, this agent verifier, evaluation. Agent evaluation is becoming a very, very big area, and I think there is a lot of opportunity there also. There are things like agent drift that happens with because of the underlying context. There's a drift in the context, so an agent drift can happen. That which basically means that the agent over time, the quality starts to degrade, right? So we need a monitor or some kind of governance system to monitor that, and perhaps retrain the agent, or perhaps recreate the workflow. So all those things, right? So though there, the quality checks becomes extremely important, and that is where human can play a pivotal role.
So we need humans. That is what your AI plus human is a terrific force. What you are saying, and not AI replacing humans. Now another question of two different camps. Are we entering? Some say we are entering an era of 10x developers. As I'm saying, we are. It is that era one developer managing 10 agents. I think hearing from you, the real solution is somewhere midway, not these two extremes.
Totally right. Totally right. I think both are very extreme propositions, and I think the optimal, as we always most of the cases see, that optimality lies in the middle, and probably you need to create a high performance team with developers, coding agents, and quality checkers, testers, architect designers, and a business person or a product person in the mix, right? So that would be an ideal team where the AI works as a teammate. They're not replacing. So you can have the developer probably managing three or four or five agents, but probably not more than that. That because that it puts a toll on that particular person also. The cognitive load increases too much. Uh, so I think if you, the way we will see things are emerging is that you will see now agent teams, but you will have one or two developers who are managing those agent teams. Definitely not one developer and then 10x agents. I do not see that happening very quickly. But we will see integration of coding agents in the team of development team, and we are already seeing that that is going to happen. Uh, Also we will also see for example product persons or business persons also becoming a part of the team, and that is extremely important so that you do not build something, or the agents do not build something that does not make sense from a business perspective, right? So you need a product or business person to do that course correction to make sure that it is moving in the right direction. Also in terms of metrics, so we also need to put metrics on the system, both system level metrics like accuracy and others like precision recall, so but also business metrics, right? I want to see that how many times my customer gave me a bad rating, for example, right? So those things also should come and should be fed back to the AI agent, right? So that is there. But again, to come back to your question, I think you're right. It is somewhere in the middle. I do not think there is the developers are going to, all of them are going to get replaced by agent. But another way to think about this would be uh, to see that we can now build things much faster, because when we have these agents in the team, my production speed gets much faster, right? So uh, if we can put the right controls and right validation all in place, then we can build bigger and better system much quickly. So I can actually afford to have bigger teams to build bigger things, which were not probably did not make financial sense to build maybe years back, right? So now I can actually see, because my production cost coming down, I can do it faster. So I can do it faster and cheaper. So I can build systems that probably would not have been approved earlier just because of budgetary reasons. So that is another way to think of it. And given the AI budget increase in the AI budget in all enterprises that we are seeing, I'm sure we'll see much higher output going forward.
Regarding AI budget, are MSMEs equally going ahead in AI? I mean, my data doesn't say so.
No, no, no. It is still at a big enterprise level. Yeah, you are right. Not at an semi level, but that's also an opportunity. You can think of it as an opportunity where I think the time has come for MSMEs to embrace this AI, embrace and adopt AI uh, in their workflows, because that would definitely improve their productivity, improve their gains, and probably can help them to scale faster than they're doing now. So this is also, I see that as an opportunity. I think the adoption curve is not that great for MSMEs right now, but there are certain MSMEs that shift is happening slowly. That MSMEs have started identifying that here is that we are missing out on this, and if we actually learn and apply this, maybe in collaboration with somebody who are greater at this, who are better at this, so they then they probably can see that there is a tangible value in adopting AI. So it is another important thing to understand, that it is not about how much you use AI in your enterprise. It is about how effectively you use your AI in your enterprise, right? So that there is a distinction there, which I think MSMEs or any enterprise, they need to understand in order to successfully apply AI or successfully harness the power of AI.
Sir, wow, absolutely wonderful. Not how much I use, how effectively I use. I wish I can teach this to many companies. Now, let's come points accountability and metrics. When AI agents top technical experts, AC Moglu, Narayanan, and others have seen, while AI agents are increasingly deployed to execute important tasks, they continue to fail in practice. Examples: eliminate databases by mistake, fail to do data analysis when a column returned data in a different order. But a human eye would have easily caught it, producing irrelevant code. Who is accountable when they fail? And regarding matrix, can we decompose an agent reliability in four key dimensions: consistency, robustness, predictability, and safety?
Absolutely. I think these are all very good questions. I think all these four dimensions are very important, and we should evaluate the AI agents in all of that, right? So, safe AI is obviously a must. We do not, as I was saying, that it should not go and touch files that I do not want it to touch files. It should not corrupt my environment, for example, by trying to do something silly. Uh, it should obviously be predictable in the sense that I should be able to. It should not do something completely which is non-predictable, or start hallucinating, right? So we should need to have guardrails on that. Obviously, the other things we have already discussed. But for accountability, I must say that remains with human. So accountability has to remain with human, in my opinion, my humble opinion, because that is where the rubber meets the road, as they say, right? And there, in what a human would know, for example, in case of a trade-off, right? So many cases you want to do a trade-off between multiple objectives, and here the human we need the human to do this kind of trade-off, and obviously in that case the accountability will remain with the human, so that in which objective he is prioritizing over another, right? So those things, and in general, uh, code, from a code accuracy, code consistency perspective also, there we want to see that a human to be at the end of the day, and human to be accountable, because with that, from a customer point of view, we also know that at some level there is some kind of an ownership which uh, helps to build trust. So the accountability is directly related to trust, and I think we are still at that position where we want to have a human accountable for critical decisions, specifically for, say, critical coding decision, critical trade-off decisions. So these things we would definitely need a human to become accountable, right? Obviously, mundane decisions, small decisions, these coding agents can take. That is not a problem. But at a system level, we will need an accountability from a human point of view. Another interesting thing from this dimension you can think of is that, say, a 2x2 matrix of risk versus autonomous, right? Autonomy. That how much automation you want and how much risk you can take, right? So there are some cases where you want low automation, low risk, which may be very critical things. You do not want, you are okay with low automation, but you definitely want high risk there. In some cases you probably can go for high risk, high autonomy, right? So depending on the use cases, you have to decide that how you are going to play with these different dimensions, and how you can trade off across these different dimensions.
As you come from industry to academics, you bring so many insights. I am simply flabbergasted. You said the keyword trust. entire business hinges on trust, marketing and sales. If marketing and sales doesn't happen, we 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 will not have business, and that hinges on trust. And that is built between humans only. Great, sir, great. Now, now another statement I have with me is, as of now, a reliable agent is that which is augmented by a human. Uh,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, sir, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Oh, okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, can you see me now? Yeah.
Yes, we can see you and hear you. As of now, 100% reliable agent is that which is augmented by a human. But how do humans do do augment it? Do they keep on cross-checking the products? What do they?
No, I mean, typically as I was saying, the human in the loop would be across different touch points, right? For example, in terms of, let's start with the whole life cycle of a project. Say, if I so first is that if I can think of is problem framing. I think this problem framing is extremely important, and that has to happen from a human point of view, because the human knows what he wants or what he or she wants, right? So the problem framing and the right way of problem framing is extremely important for this coding agents. For example, if you want to, you can have a sloppy workflow and good agents, but that will not give you better output compared to a good workflow and okay agents, right? So the workflow basically is where you are breaking down you are explaining the problem to the agent exactly how the way you want it, along with the metrics and everything, guardrails. So you are explaining that too. So that problem framing is typically done by the human. Some of the architecture designs may be automated by the agent, but again, some key factors, key decisions on the architecture design has to be taken by the human. Then at the time of coding, where the actual coding is happening by the agent, when the building development is happening, there also we would like to, as I was saying, that some of the cases where we would like to see that it is specifically in the edge case or critical part of the code writing, there you will need humans, and the humans should also be there to validate some of the system level metrics, not at a line by line metric, right? It does not have to do a line by line code evaluation, but it can do a system level evaluation. So that is there. And finally, when it actually does and gets deployed, as I said, then there has to be a governance or a monitoring to be done by human to tackle these things like agent drifts and all, right? So that if the agent is consistently doing a quality job, or it is the quality is degrading over time, right? So those things need to be monitored. That data flow preparation, I think that also you will need some help of the human, that is there. So there are multiple points, touch points, where you will still need humans. So that's why it was called human augmented this. But many of the mundane coding tasks, many of the say even automation part, workflows part, so those things will be all completely taken over by the coding agents, which we don't need to do anymore. We would basically go, so humans, you can think of, we will also evolve with these AI agents. As I was saying at the beginning of this interview, that the agents have evolved from, say, an automation tool to a code assistant to an AI agent. There is also co-evolution happening, right? So we humans are also evolving with these agents. We are, and if you see the developers, they are evolving both in terms of their, so you can think of it that both vertically and horizontally. That means they are becoming more code validator. They are code designers. I think problem state framers, and also I think horizontally they are becoming more and more. I think their roles are getting overlapped with, say, a product manager or an architect. So you will see there is a horizontal evolution that is also happening among the developer community. So now it is more important that can you frame the problem in the right way, and can you actually uh, tell the coding agent in a effective way so that it can build, and then you can verify it, right? So all these things will come into place. So humans are not going anywhere, so it has to be human augmented coding going forward.
I'll open the floor to public to ask questions, because we will not get an intelligent and knowledgeable person like you every day. So people are open to welcome questions. And in the meantime, I have two, three, four more questions for sir.
Sure.
My question is, if what what should and what should how should AI education evolve for students and or learners or executives, whatever. Some market non-coding AI, some market learning basics of coding. What should we learn coding, or should we focus to or coding plus problem solving and system thinking? What should be our learn, where should we be hungry for learning?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. So, coding, I would highly recommend to learn coding, right? Because coding itself is an excellent tool to sharpen your problem solving skills, to think in a structured manner, uh, and to do abstractions, right? So, abstract thinking is a skill that you develop when you code. So coding itself has a lot of these side effects that is extremely good for us. So I would say that for if there is for no other reason, just learn coding to make yourself sharper, right? So that is there. Now the second point is that you cannot control or govern or evaluate or validate or verify something you do not understand yourself. So if you know coding, you will be in a much better position to verify or validate the job of a coding agent, what it has done, right? So that is important. So you definitely need to learn coding. But yes, what will change, and what I think many of the education, hopefully, institutes are taking note of that. I think what you will see over time, that say syntax based education, that you have to learn the syntax of the code very well. You have to put a semicolon at the end of the line. Those things are going to go away. You don't have to learn those anymore. I think those will be taken care automatically. So syntax based, or you need to, or say a programming language. How well you know the construct of that programming language? How when you know the specific syntax of SQL query, those things you can, I think we can get away with, right? But general coding, problem abstraction, breaking problem into sub problems, complex problem into sub problems, uh, think of a procedural way or algorithmic way of breaking down and solving a problem on a sequence of logical steps, logical thinking in general, reasoning. Those skills will come from coding, and you will need those skills to evaluate the code that is written by the coding agent that is helping you. So in both cases, I think the coding part is important, and it will remain. It should remain as part of the education system, but in a different form. As I said, that some of these things we can shed out, can get away with.
Since no question is coming, and from oh, so, and there's a one question, sir, from
Okay,
Sachin Dubey.
that's a very good question. Uh, I think the learning coding part, if you're coming from an art stream, you can just learn coding for fun, number one, right? So it's pretty fun to learn coding. So that is, and if you learn coding a bit, you would be in a better place to use these coding agents effectively for your work as well, right? So even if there is, but in case of, if you are trying to say do some, do co-creation with AI, even in the field of arts, which I am not, and I am no expert in that, but I'm just taking an example, that if you want to do co-creation of AI art, and if there is you are using some kind of an AI agent or an AI tool to do that, uh, you did not know coding, right? So you can give that prompts, you can guide it in the way you want it, and it will deliver what you ask it to do. Uh, Mainly if you want to automate something, right? So if you want to do something quicker, if you want to build something where you need logic and combination of, say, programming and art, that's, you probably will need to learn a bit of coding. In general, day to day, probably will not need that. But if you want to do, say, for example, you want to do something to do with scale, right? So you want to create 5 different creatives, right? So you can actually, if you know the coding a little bit, that how you can do that, then you probably can do it much faster. So using a coding agent, correct? Probably if you somebody who is designing an UI, for example, right? So if he knows how to work with coding agent, earlier it would be somebody who will create a mock-up of that UI. Now you can create actually a working UI at a demo level very fast. That is a much more impactful offering to, or presentation, than compared to a mock-up, just a mock-up of your UI, for example, right? So I don't know if this example is relevant for you or not. So that would be my take.
With me, please. And question has come from my two colleagues. How could we make ourselves aware of fake news made by AI?
This is a
Not
this is a problem playing us all. As we are entering this AI age, I think we are also entering the age of misinformation, fake information, getting bombarded with such information day in and day out, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to uh, sort of filter out the right factful information from this barrage of misinformation that we are getting. So I think uh, one thing would be to, there are fact checkers that are available today which you can use, and I would definitely sort of recommend everyone to use certain things which does not look right, to do a fact checker. In fact, going forward, hopefully our browsers would come integrated with such fact checkers, and probably we will see, and we are actually not, we are already seeing AI doing fact checking on AI, right? So if there is an AI generated content, I am using an AI fact checker who can do that fact check on that generated content. But we will also need, again, like any other AI systems, we will need human in the loop to ensure that my fact checker is not hallucinating as well, right? So that is also we need to understand. So uh, I think there are efforts already underway. There are good fact checkers that are available that you can use, and hopefully we will see more tooling and more automation around this area integrated in our everyday applications, where it will make us aware of such fake news generated by AI or generated by people with bad intent using AI, right?
one last question before we wind up for the day. I have heard if AI can be used to drive a cyber attack as well as AI can be used to protect from a cyber attack. Can you explain this?
Again, cybersecurity is not my domain, but we
Okay.
give so. But I have a recent I was actually very fortunate to work with a cybersecurity firm very closely, and we also conducted an AI in cybersecurity program. Uh, so you are absolutely right. So there we are seeing cyber attacks, and that person was explaining it to me that we are seeing AI-based cyber attacks now. AI-based prevention is still a bit of under research of such AI-based cyber attacks. I think we are still having robust systems, human-led systems, which we are there to prevent such AI-led cyber attacks. But now I think the AI-based defense systems are also gaining a lot of traction.
Uh, one really less. What is the future of open source development in an AI driven world?
Uh, that's an interesting one. I do not know. I mean, one thing I can for sure say that we are going to see a sort of avalanche of open source products coming out, right? Because the barrier definitely will has come much lower with these AI coding agents. So we will see. I'm sure we will see an explosion of open source content or codes uh, which are created using AI. But that also creates a nightmare for the administrators or for the people who are maintainers of quality. If such avalanche of code happens overnight, generation happen overnight, so we have to figure out that while obviously encouraging more and more open source contribution, so the contribution should definitely keep coming in, but we have to figure out that how to do the maintenance of that so that only quality stuff goes in, and a lot of the other things which are not of high quality, that gets removed, right? So that gets controlled. So that we have to see. So I cannot predict the future, but I'm sure going to say that the contribution is going to go up very much. I mean, for example, if I have to just draw an analogy, in many of the, say, scientific community where papers are written and submitted, the number of or coding competitions where people will submit codes, so the number of entries have gone up drastically, right? And that's because a lot of these can be now automated. People can create multiple versions of their application very quickly and can submit. So similar thing I'm sure will happen in the open source as well, where we'll see a huge explosion of contributions. But we need to have, again, coming back to the guardrails and the quality controls in place, so that we are not overwhelmed by that.
So now finally we have to end the program. Thank you very much
Sure,
for
sure.
your
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh, for inviting me. I hope I could uh, at least share some information with your audience, which can be of use. So thank you again.
I look forward to another meeting with you. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Okay. Bye, bye, everyone.